Welcome everyone to a casted game for Age of Empires 4, and today spawning the east side of the map, playing in blue, we got Demu representing Team Liquid as the ayyubids. And his opponent in the northwest playing in red, we've got CsOH playing as the Delhi Sultanate. Welcome everyone to Rocky Canyon. We're going to be having the ayyubids versus the Delhi Sultanate. A really interesting matchup. I'm kind of excited for this one. We don't see this matchup all that often, but one of the reasons why I'm super excited, both civilizations are berry brothers. Go for the berries, of course, nice and early, which means they pack a punch in terms of food. They also will have safe food for, well, the foreseeable future, the next 5-10 minutes. Because once they do run out of berries, they can go to sheep. It's all good for them. But what I'm super excited about this matchup is the timings and how aggressive the both players can be with this civilizations. The Delhi, incredibly strong in the feudal age. The ayyubids, it feels like they often want to get to that castle age pretty fast. They want to kind of do a bit of damage, maybe with a couple of desert raiders here and there. More of a stopgap, more of a way just to secure their way to the castle age, which is where I feel like their powerhouse really comes online for the ayyubids. The question is whether they can get there. The Delhi, you know, if you leave them for too long, it's not a good idea, because the Delhi, they can really start to surround you, start to swarm with sheer number of units. And bear in mind, they always do have that access to the mid-map objectives of the sacred sites. Getting the sacred sites incredibly strong for them, get extra bit of gold, and they can always do, well, they can do two main things with that, to be fair. They can always look to trade that in at the market, get food and wood, and pump out even more feudal age units. They can even think about just edging towards that castle age at times. Either way, never say no to free gold, of course, and bear in mind they don't need to spend the gold on any tech up upgrades. They get those for free. So it's, yeah, it's an interesting one. I think ultimately, it feels like in this situation, this matchup, the Delhi probably do have the ability to decide things in terms of, you know, they want to do what they want to do. I feel like in a lot of matchups in Age of Empires 4, you've got a situation where one kind of wants to dictate terms. They want to do what they want to do, and the other civilization has to kind of react and try and deal with it, try and challenge it maybe. And in many ways, it feels like this case, the Delhi have that. They have the situation where they want to do what they want to do. They're going to do their feudal age aggression. And it's going to be up to the ayyubids to try and stop that. We'll have to see. House of Wisdom, going to be taken up with the military wing. Going to be accessing a couple of those desert raiders every few minutes. It's a very typical opening, actually, for the ayyubids these days. Ultimately, you can never say no to free units, right? Why would you? But what it does allow him to do is possibly think about getting a castle age behind this, or maybe a second town centre. I mean, the castle age will be a tricky situation with the gold being so far forward, especially against the Delhi Sultanate. Now, he actually went with the Tower of Victory initially, he cancelled it, decided to go for the Dome of the Faith. Interesting choice. But I don't hate it. See, we do see a lot of Tower of Victory plays these days, but I like this play from CsOH because the scholars are incredibly powerful in terms of getting to the sacred sites quicker. And bear in mind, if you are up against a castle age ayyubids play, then getting the sacred sites quicker is all the more important, because it puts a lot of pressure on the map. And if you go Tower of Victory, actually getting into the mid-map is very slow. Like, you can't underestimate it. Having the cheaper scholars is incredibly good. An extra, well, it's 50 discount rather of gold. It doesn't sound like a lot, but bear in mind, you're not going to be mining. You can have an extra villager, basically. You have to have another couple of extra villagers if you go Tower of Victory on gold, which is not really what you want to get the scholars out quickly. Bear in mind as well, if you do want to make scholars, you've got to make them from the mosque, unless you get another mosque, which you need extra wood for, because you want to really get this mosque actually taking up and researching, rather than making those scholars. Either way, both players taking up at pretty much exact same time. Desert Raider heading out. And especially because he won't be able to have gold access for too much longer if that Desert Raider gets his way. Needs to be a bit careful as well with that woodline forward, CsOH. He's going to be dropping down a blacksmith opening. Interesting. So playing a bit more passively. But again, I don't hate it, right? Because it comes down to timings. There's some argument to be made, why don't you open up with double stable or a stable and get some Ghazi Raiders out? Well, you can do that, but he just wants those upgrades quicker. And by the time he gets a blacksmith up, ultimately what he's doing is trading in an extra early Ghazi Raider, from which he will look to try and do some damage with, but not guaranteed, and he's trading that for the early upgrades. And bear in mind, if he gets earlier upgrades, that means that when he does get Ghazi Raiders out, there's a timing when the upgrades do come in, they're going to be incredibly powerful. Now note that the upgrade he went for is Iron Undermesh. That's going to help him tank against TC fire if he gets there, if he needs to. But it's also going to help him tank against any sort of archer opening. Now plenty of villages on gold. Does look like it's going to be a fast castle for the ayyubids. But it's got to be careful not to lose that position. The good thing for the ayyubids is that actually it's not a super aggressive play from the Delhi. Like ultimately it's no Tower Victory. He did open up with a stable, but only after a blacksmith, and he's now looking to get the Ghazi Raider out. But benefit for the Delhi Sultanate and the efficient production is it allows the scholar to, well, really produce those Ghazi Raiders fast. And here it is. There is that first Ghazi Raider, which is going to be looking to harass that gold. No outpost here, by the way. Curious decision, because like if you can get the gold to get to the castle age, that's one thing. Getting to the castle age, one thing, but getting the gold to then sustain an army composition, that's a whole different kettle of fish. Speaking of fish, there are no fish today, unfortunately, on Rocky Canyon, so no docks early on, which, you know, the ayyubids can sometimes like to do. Now, just to let you guys know on YouTube, I am streaming on Twitch as well, so how's it going, everyone on Twitch? How's it going, Morley Games? Hope you're doing well, buddy. And if you do want to watch me live on Twitch, guys on YouTube, I will be leaving a link in the video description. Check it out. You might want to come say hello sometime. Be lovely to see you there. But yeah, kind of an interesting approach, especially because the sheep, you know, doesn't have all that many left. And I feel like Demu, whilst he will get to the castle age, whether it will be sustainable or not, it'll be interesting to see. Bear in mind as well, the Delhi Sultanate, there are, I think they're one of a handful of civilizations that can actually do decently well in the feudal age and extended feudal age against a castle age army they're going up against. Primarily because the anti-armor damage that the Ghazi Raiders have, like they just, you know, they do some good damage against heavily armored units. They get an additional +2 attack. Speaking of which, they are attacking now on that gold vein. Desert Raiders have to back away. Villagers backing away from gold. And this is what we talked about, right? So he is going to go up to the next stage with growth, giving him an extra 8 villagers and getting extra food on the orchards, which are now fully expired, I'm afraid. But yeah, extra 8 villagers is super powerful. But the problem for him really, he doesn't really have access to gold. And, you know, taking up just for 8 villagers extra, it's very expensive. It's very expensive. It's going to need to get some units out, but he can't afford it with the gold cost at least. We'll have to see how he plays this one out. Double stable as well. So yeah, maybe looking for camel lancers maybe, which if he can get on the field would be strong. Should be able to get 1, maybe able to squeeze 2. I'm not so sure about the second actually. We'll have to see. Either way, double blacksmith is up and running. Barracks being added too. And I like that plane. The barracks obviously certainly going to be helpful against the stable. But he needs to pop out those units. Now bear in mind, it's got all 3 sacred sites. So the timer is ticking. 8 minutes into the game and about 10 minutes on the sacred site timer. Not that I necessarily think he's posturing towards that kind of victory win condition. It's more that he's going to get some gold out of this, right? Which is nice. One thing else to note is that with this mid-map kind of control, he can actually look to access the extra berry patches. It's always an option. Does have camel on knees from the Desert Raiders tanking, and the town centre does have an iron undermesh, don't forget. That was the very first thing he queued up, taking the fight, taking some villagers as well. Generally a good fight, keeping the villagers idled, 15 of them. And so whilst he might lose a couple of Ghazi Raiders, he's getting a couple of villager kills, but more importantly, he's keeping the town centre idle. It might be throwing away a bit too many units though. Needs to be careful, does take out the Desert Raider and the Scout. This is pretty huge actually. Could actually dive on those villagers. I think he's fine, he should take this fight. He's got iron undermesh after all, and he's killing villagers and keeping them idled, and he's trickling in more units. This is looking great for CsOH. Demu in all sorts of trouble, has 0 military units, and this is the greed of that fast castle. Wasn't able to sustain it. He gets to the castle age, but ultimately at what cost? And he does have 2 camel lancers queued up. But he needs to fight this back hugely, and 2 spearmen, 3 spearmen. If the spearmen get on top of that gold, look, he's really charging for it. He needs it badly. He needs that gold. Wait, hey. Hey, CsOH! Hello! Do something! CsOH! No! So it looks like maybe he's going to get another couple of lancers because of that. I'm afraid for CsOH. CsOH! 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 Do something! Either way, he's walling up on the east side, so looking to get that protected, but... Because... CsOH! Demu doesn't have anything to defend that with, and... CsOH... Okay, that's painful, because now that's going to translate to another, like, 4 camel lancers, maybe. Oof. But it does get maybe a villager out of that. Maybe not. No, maybe not. But ultimately, the Gaza Raiders still do well against the Camel Lancers, and it's going to take that wood line in a big way, dishing out all sorts of damage. Going to get Bloomery in as well, coming in for free on the Blacksmith, and kills so many villagers. Killed 12 so far, by the way. It's absolutely huge. Now, bear in mind, Demu did get 8 free villagers. Doesn't really matter at this point because he's done so much damage. But a lot of the Gaza Raiders have gone down. That's actually kind of an issue. Like, there's nothing to necessarily punish the gold diggers now. Gold diggers digging away. And for Demu, this is good. Like, it's okay now. He could possibly stabilize and get units out. Premium units at that. Castle Age units. He's looking to deny the sacred sites. Plenty of gold trickling in passively for CsOH, but not necessarily quite enough. Although, as I say, that gold... Oh, no. The Gaza Raiders are on top of this once again. And Demu may be overextended, right? And this is the case. Like, getting the mid-map objectives, getting the sacred sites, forced Demu to get out of there, which is possibly where he didn't need to be. He needed to be at home defending, right? But he also needed to decap the sacred sites if he could. Wasn't able to in the end, and that's a really bad situation. Holy moly. That is not looking good. But Demu's lost so many villagers so far. 16 in the game, and he hasn't deactivated the sacred site. Alright, Spearman going to chase down the Camel Lancers. And Gaza Raiders heading back. But they're going to come back for another bite of the cherry, of course. 30 minutes due to 6. This is not looking good for Demu. CsOH in good positioning. And I think the clutch play with the Spearman as well. Like, the Camel Lancer can't really dive this. It does have Camel on knees, but can't take engagement against the Spearman. Even though they are a few late Spearmen, it's still a good counter. As long as you've got the numbers, and he definitely has those numbers. The Camels can't chase the Gaza Raiders. This is an issue. He needs to find another access to gold, which you can't really at this point. Spearman, will they charge in and get one more hit? No. Oh, yeah, he does. He actually gets one. Oh, that's unfortunate for Demu. Oh, when he can get another. Couple of hits? No, he's going for the villagers on wood, and the Gaza Raiders raiding. They're doing what their name says, and they're raiding like heck. Another Desert Raider came out for free, but got sniped instantly. And bear in mind as well, like, this is the real powerhouse. Getting the sacred sites, getting the mid-map objectives, and the control. He's getting the berries. He's getting everything he wants. He's getting it stabilized with outposts as well. So it's very, very methodical and very, very protective of the resources expanding to. And so, I mean, this is clinical. That's a really good execution for CsOH. Demu tried something with the fast castle, but wasn't able to make it work. But oh, villagers try to go onto gold again. Should lose one at least. No, maybe not. Manages to survive there, Demu. But the big problem for him, he's got 5 minutes on that sacred site timer. And yeah, that's going to be hard to decap when you're up against 40 military, where you've only got 8. Despite having Castle Age tech-ups, it just doesn't feel enough. Demu is in all sorts of trouble. And CsOH, if you didn't know him before, we know him now, taking down maybe one of the giants of Age of Empires 4. Obviously, it's not a done deal just yet. Oh, especially with the Camel Lance here. Although, yeah, I mean, he should be able to decap that sacred site maybe if he doesn't send any units quickly. CsOH needs to do just that, challenging the sacred site on the west side. But ultimately, you know, Camel Lancer here and there everywhere. He's not able to group up into a massive force here, Demu. Oh, does decap the sacred site in the end. Oh, nicely done. Nicely done. So Demu survives for a bit longer. Spearman, Gaza Raiders just about to attack the front position. Oh, round the back. Oh no. Okay, he spots this, right? This is the issue. Demu's struggling on food as well. He cannot afford to have a farming transition. But if CsOH heads in that direction and goes for the food villages, this could be problematic. Oh, this is a problem. This is a really big problem. Those Gaza Raiders have a bit of a lead on those Camel Lancers. This is an issue. Demu in all sorts of trouble. This could be the tap out. Like, he's just going to lose so much. He can't stand and fight with the villagers. Oh, this is not looking good. CsOH should be able to take out villagers. He might even just focus on the Camel Lancers, take them out first, and then the villagers. He split them up into 2, and it's going to go to the castle stage behind this compound and the defender. That's the power of having those sacred sites. That is for sure. And it's just going to lose so much. Demu trying to hold on. Oh no, the Spearman getting involved. This is over. This is so over. Now he's going to head in with a couple of Ghulams, which should be able to chase, but ultimately, if he loses the villagers, which he will, even if CsOH loses his whole army, it's not such a much problem if he kills all these villagers. Peeling away. Can take out those Camel Lancers with the Spearman. Great work to split up the Ghulam numbers. Okay, I mean, he survives with a group of villagers, but he's just lost so many. He's lost 28 in total. And CsOH going to keep the army alive for now. Understandably so. Especially as he's taking out. Bear in mind, though, the tech up to the castle age for the Delhi is not as strong as the ayyubids, at least in the short term. Like, obviously mid to late game, it's absolutely fine, but the straight up tech up, it's going to take time for the Ghazi Raiders to become veteran. It's going to take time for the Spearmen to get the veterancy upgrade as well. Well, I haven't said that. Maybe not as long as you'd expect, because of course a lot of players do go up to the feudal age with the Tower of Victory. But today, we went up with the Dome of the Faith, so he's producing plenty of scholars. Gets into the mosque, and obviously the Delhi Sultanate get free tech ups, but the way to increase the speed of research is by having more scholars in the mosque. And it's quite a likelihood that you get more scholars in the mosque when you have the Dome of the Faith, of course. Oh, cool. I'm going to take out maybe these Ghazi Raiders. Do they just maybe snipe out one villager and back away? He's going to run on out of there. Didn't achieve all... Wait, we got 2 villagers, to be fair. Holy moly. Good value. Does decap the sacred site in the middle. Moves on out. Bear in mind, though, CsOH actually looking to get some of those relics, would you believe? After all of this, being able to have the presence of mind to get those relics after all this pressure. Very nicely done. Alright, now, we've got a question. What is Demu's next actions? What's his next move? Maybe he needs to secure that gold. And the next food source is going to be critical. Maybe goes to the deer camp on the right side, but it needs to keep units there. Does snipe out the scholar. Oh, I think does he get that? Oh, no, he doesn't. Just about. That was close. Yeah, CsOH looking in a good spot. Good 20 villagers ahead. It's got the castle age in. It's got double the military numbers, which are soon to be upgraded. I say soon, I mean, yeah, it's actually not too bad. Another minute away for the spearmen, at least. Not too bad. Oh, say Scholar. He's going to die. He's going to keep him alive. I mean, the Desert Raider should get him, actually. Should snipe him. Does snipe him. Fortunate for him. I mean, Demu is pushing back a little bit with the Ghulam, but the question is, can he do enough damage quick enough? That is the real question. Spearman could trade decently well. Like, they're not the most ideal, but he's got 4 of those crossbows behind, and that's really what's going to do our damage. The Spearman will tank on the front line, allow the crossbows to do work. Ghazi Raiders might be looking to add a bit of fuel to that fire and that fight as well, possibly. But the Delhi, yeah, they're going to take that all out. Kills out a stray unit for the ayyubids there around the back. And again, he's just sending a couple of units here and there, looking to harass, and that's a good spot to hit, actually. Nothing protecting. But looks like the berries might expire soon. No, it's got a bit more. I mean, growth really helps here. Look at that, 450 food rather than 250. That goes a long way. Sending spearmen and crossbowmen forward. Now bear in mind, whilst he did have to wait for the tech ups to come in for the existing army, whether he's spearmen or Ghazi Raiders, I mean, crossbowmen, he could just make them off the bat. And he's doing just that. Has to cancel the building. That wood line awfully exposed. Villagers have to come away from the deer camp. Does eventually clear that up though, so could head on back out there. Oh, mass rams coming up for the Delhi. This is looking tricky for Demu. And a forward keep. This is a get out of my keep castle, if you've ever seen one. That's going to be a strong position, denying that wood line. And just a straight staging ground to attack, right? He's only got 2 landmarks, bear in mind, to snipe. I'm pretty surprised he didn't go for this area, actually. To deny the gold and then push on the House of Wisdom. Either way, it doesn't matter. He's going to get a good position. Because it doesn't really feel like there's a way that Demu can deny that keep or stop it from going up. And now with the Rams coming on the east side, we'll actually take out the relic as well. Look at the income coming in. Looking really strong for CsOH. Crossbows going to take out that Ghulam pretty quickly. There he goes. Take out the mosque and then move on in. Building with a decent number of villagers. I think it's 13 there. Yeah, this is looking tricky. Demu, he tried something cheeky with the castle age coming in quickly, but doesn't feel like he's got enough now. Villagers having to back away from the wood line into the town centre. They're going to hide for a little while. Ghulam's going to be tanked against by those Ghazi Raiders, allowing the crossbows to maybe get some fire and damage, but yeah, just one primary unit for the ayyubids. Not going to be enough, I don't think. He's got to somehow deal with the Rams, but if he focuses on the Rams, that allow CsOH to do critical damage to the army. He takes out the infrastructure first, which is a good idea. No stables means no units, no barracks as well. It's going to be difficult. He's going to take this out. CsOH kind of not paying attention there for a second. Will lose one ram, possibly a second for free. Guys, Reddy's charging in. Second ram stays alive for now. Can I work on that second stable maybe? Go for the barracks possibly? Either way, he's going to torch his way through as well with the Ghazis. Berries about to expire. There's no other free food on the map there. On that southern border. It's looking tricky. Gulam diving in. This could be the big fight that we're expecting to see out the game. Decent number of crossbows. I think crossbows just win this though. And the Ghazi Raiders with a +2 attack extra for the armored units. And it's going to slaughter everything. CsOH taking the game, I think, here on Rocky Canyon. Demu doesn't have much left in the tank. He taps out. A great victory there for CsOH. If you didn't know him before, you know him now. Slaying a giant of the Age of Empires 4 scene. CsOH takes the game. Hope you guys enjoyed this on YouTube. If you did, make sure you give the video a thumbs up. Take care and see you next time.